What's going on, everybody? This is Anthony, ABJ here, bringing you another episode. I apologize for being a little behind on these. I've been really I don't want to say I'm procrastinating. It's not like I'm avoiding this. I've been working on a lot of things. So I kind of been editing a lot and going into some stuff and trying to get other people's stuff situated. Oop, I just punched my microphone. Getting other people situated on their stuff, on their channels, helping other people create and edit and do things, which I'll talk about more in detail in a little bit. I'm going to change this up just a hair. I still have a vlog I have to edit that I'm going to try to get out. It probably won't be by the first weekend of this month, of the upcoming month. It'll probably be the second or third week, but I don't know if I'm gonna do the vlog as much, or if I do, it won't be as detailed, because I think what I'm gonna do here, and I'm gonna start it on this episode, is do a weekly recap. I'm kind of give you guys an update of what I've been doing, myself and Lily. So Lily is not on camera. There's gonna be some episodes where they are, but the last episode we did one where. Not the last one, but the one before that, where I asked them, they listened to the episode while I was doing it, and then wanted to ask more detailed questions about the episode, or things how they wanted me to dive on, or maybe interrupt during it and be like, hey, dive into that more, because I kind of need that. I kind of feel like maybe sometimes it's not important to me, but a third party person or someone who plays host that I normally would do can help elevate that conversation, or maybe keep me honest. I don't know what the role would be, but I enjoy them being here and being part of the content. So just to kind of recap throughout the week, so we Memorial Day weekend was just passed. Actually, we're 2 weeks behind. I think I'm going to have a 2 weeks worth of recap for you all. But Memorial Day weekend, we got off work and we went to, was it Memorial Day weekend? Yes, we went to Pilgrim Brewing Company, which is like second home for us. If we're going to go to a bar or go do anything or have a couple drinks, it's going to be there. It's our crowd. It's our people. It's who we like to hang out with. Shout out Pilgrim Brewing Company, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Go support them. So we had a few beers. We relaxed. It was a long week, but we were excited because we had the extra day off on a Monday, and we just chilled. Had a couple drinks, got some food from A-Team Wings and Things, right? That's the name of their business. Love their food to death as well. But if you ever want to hang out with us, that's probably where you'll find us as a Pilgrim. We don't really go anywhere else. But yeah, and then we I'm trying to think if I had any beers that stood out. I didn't really record them or do anything, but maybe I'll do that in the future as I'll remember more. But they have so much. Like if you don't want beer, they do have spirits, which are all Pennsylvania based spirits. They also have hop water, which is really good. Even if you don't want to drink, it's a flavor water they make. I think they're going to be doing a soda soon. They also have espressos, which can be either like hard or just regular coffee espressos. There's a lot of cool things there. So it's go ahead.
The espresso nitro was dangerously good for how strong of a beer that is. It tasted so smooth.
Yeah. So they have something for everybody, and it's a great place to hang out, and you will find your people there, I promise you. There's something for everybody. You don't have to just be a pro wrestling person. We have music people. It's just a very cool, artsy, pop culture inspired place. But then we watched, we went on a binge because Lily found a TikTok about a murder case. I guess it is a murder case, right? She was found guilty of called The Crash. So we watched it on Netflix. I have seen things about this case because I watch all this stuff all the time. And we watched The Crash on Netflix, and I was like, I feel like they left a lot out. And you were saying, yes, there's other episodes of this on Hulu. So we watched on Hulu, it was a series called Killer Cases, and the episode was Murder on Wheels. So we watched that one. And then there's another show on HBO Max called Mean Girl Murders. And that show, it was under, I think like season 3 or whatever. And that was also called, I believe, Hell on Wheels or Murder on Wheels or something along the same lines. They use the same tagline. The interesting about this documentary, it's a high school girl who seems like she really doesn't have a lot of guidance or boundaries or anything with her parents. There's a whole nother loophole of maybe her relationship with her parents that they didn't get into in the documentary. But the internet true crime detectives have been hard at the case. But they she was in a relationship with a guy. It wasn't the greatest. He was a little older than her. She was still in high school. They were living together, and they fought and argued a lot. And one night after leaving a party, she got on a road and gunned it. Did about 97 miles an hour into a building, killing her boyfriend and his friend, and she survived. And the documentary kind of shows of all the different conclusions of, did she do it on purpose? Did she have a medical incident? There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into everything and all my theories. I think justice was served, and she was found guilty, and she should have been. Anything you want to add to that trial or documentary?
I think the fact that her parents were still standing up for her, I think that the parents were more involved than what is led to believe in any of the like TV shows or anything.
Yeah, well, the one documentary did talk about how that her and her mom had a special Carney language. They used Carney.
I mean, I know that too, but at the same time, it wasn't just that. I feel like the way that when they were in the courtroom and they sentenced her, the next thing you hear is her dad say, "We know you didn't do it." Like, you're trying to cover so hard for her when all of the read the red paint on the walls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think the Hulu documentary, that episode for Killer Cases, was better. I think they explained more. They talked about how she actually looked like, on GPS tracking on her phone, she dry runned this drive
Life 360
like a few times before actually taking the turn and doing it the night of the crash, where the other documentaries left it out. I will say the Mean Girl murders on Netflix, I think they're kind of insulting on how they do it, and they don't really pull credible people. Like, the other documentaries had like actual friends and people involved, and the Mean Girl murders were like, here's some random girl who went to the same high school. Like, they dug to the bottom of the barrel to find people to talk about the cases, which is interesting when you watch different true crime documentaries on the same case, because you can see which ones were able to pull in the right people to get their views on it, and the ones that were just like, we're going to find a random person who lived in that town and get their perspective on it, which is interesting. The other thing that happened is I made my debut at Workers Pro Wrestling in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. So we were driving to this, and we knew it was in a roller skating rink, and we just are driving out in the middle of, it seems, nowhere. Like, we were on back road more than we were on main road. It was a weird drive, and as we're getting closer, and I'm like a mile away, half a mile away, I'm like, where is this fucking roller skating rink? And it's literally out in the middle of nowhere at a firehouse, behind a firehouse, down in the bottom corner of the property. And I was nervous. I'm going to be honest. When I pulled in, I was like, oh boy, like, how the fuck do people know this place exists? Like, it's literally in the middle of nowhere. And we pull in, and as soon as you walk in the doors and you see the roller skating rink, you're like, this is sick. The way the dressing room was set up, there was a cool little backstage room for the interview spots. The roller skating rink was where the ring was. There was cool bleachers around it, a DJ booth, the bathrooms. It was ran and owned by a roller derby team. I don't have their name in front of me. I do apologize. Actually, no, I do have it in front of me. The Rockstar Roller Derby team. All the owners and the members of the team that own the building, it's kind of like a team-owned thing, they were super nice and super helpful and super welcoming. Definitely want to go and support them. I think they don't really do like league play. I think they're more of like a team that does in-house derbies, which is, I mean, if you know derby, you know derby. But it was really, really neat. I'll talk about the positives. I really excited. About halfway through the show, I pulled over Kelly, which now goes by Diana Kelly, on the scene. She got to come over and do some commentary, which I was really happy to sit with her and really just like mending those fences. Kelly is someone to me who was like my little sister. Like, she joined the podcast team, and she was the first person who felt like they gave a shit. And I'm not saying that no one else did, but like, everyone else I think was just happy to be in front of a microphone and making content, where Kelly was like proud to be making the content, like promoting and telling people they were doing it, and like their family was watching, and like it's like they were generally proud of what we were creating, and that meant a lot to me. And they put a lot of hard work in, and they definitely had the same mind state of growth as I did. And even they were trying to help me to like maybe calm myself down, and they were going through things that I wasn't even fully aware of, and I was going through things that they weren't fully aware of. And then we had like the falling out. I went through my things, and then they went through their stuff, and we just stopped talking. And there was like resentment and anger, and things were said, and we've slowly been fixing that. And this show was like a time to really sit down, and we hugged it out and told each other we love each other, and got to do commentary together. And it was awesome. It was awesome to be on a microphone and cracking stupid jokes and making her laugh, and just like I felt like I got my sister back, you know what I mean? And hopefully in the future we will be making more content and stuff together. So I was really, really happy with that. They did a great job. Had very little prep. So this is not a knock to Workers Pro Wrestling. The owner was going through some medical stuff, so they weren't as prepared as they'd like to be. And I didn't really like. I was told to come, but I wasn't really told in what capacity, what role, what's going on, how we're going to do this. It was more of just like, doors open in a few minutes. Can you set up and do commentary? Also, I don't really know where we're going to put you. So I kind of got a table. I was in the back corner, which I thought was a good spot because I can like, oh, cool. Like it's kind of out of the way. It wasn't. It was the most congested spot of the arena. Everybody wanted to stand directly in front of my line sight. It was hard to see. I didn't have everyone's name. I didn't know everybody on the roster. I just wasn't comfortable or confident in my abilities. I normally don't do play-by-play, so I had to do color and play-by-play. I'm not proud of it. I had fun doing it. I thought the experience was great. I thought the company was great. I can't wait to grow with the company. I hope they don't hate the commentary so much I never get asked back. But I'm also honest. That's what I do here. But I thought the roster was really good. I thought everyone did a great performance. I apologize for the names and people I got wrong. I meet a lot of people every day, every weekend, all the time, making content. I'm not great at remembering everything. So it's one of those things is when I go to a wrestling company, I try to grow with the company and the roster. I don't play the character of the commentary who feels like he has to know everything. I want to come in natural. I want to come in like, hey, this is my first time here. I don't really know a lot of these people. Some of the people I know from here. Some of these people I don't. Some of the people I've seen on the scene, and I just try to be genuinely honest. I feel like if you're bringing me to the table, you're getting this. You're getting me. I'm not gonna play like your traditional what you watch on TV commentary. I want to be different. I want to stand out. I want to be my own thing. And some companies don't like it, and they come in and they try to change it. And I said, I'll change a little bit, but like at the end of the day, this is what I think makes me special. I did get some cool content where I'm going to do like a dual screen where it's like one top of the screen for a clip is the ring and the action happening, and the bottom clip's going to be me on commentary. So I'm going to put those out soon. This is the first show where I got a full show commentary thing, where the other shows it's kind of not fully the entire time, where we had issues with the camera. So I do have 2 other shows that I'll be making clips of as well, but that was pretty much everything there. I'm sorry I'm going really long here. I figured this would be like 10-15 minutes long of just like recapping, but there was 2 things. Trying to think what else is going on. Memorial Day, we really didn't do much. We just kind of stayed at the house, worked on catching up on projects. Lily worked on making some gear and some things. I edited RWE, Rough Around the Edges, the Pilguru show. I worked on the vlog a little bit. I did some future planning for podcast episodes. We watched AEW Double or Nothing, which I thought was a fantastic pay-per-view. I had some Miller High Life, and I enjoyed the holiday. Then we went back to work for the week. This weekend, we just sat in the house. We didn't do shit. We just stayed home. We're broke. Our checks weren't the greatest, and we paid off our bills, and we're just in that catch-up process. Like this week and next week are probably going to be a little tough for us to go out and do things and enjoy things because we're going to be kind of housebound, but we'll go to shows and stuff like that. But we're building for the summer that we can go and have some fun and do some fun things. Lily's about to grab the mic, so they probably have plans.
I'm looking at the month of June. First of all, happy Pride Month.
Yeah, very happy Pride Month.
But the first weekend, we have the Marie Antoinette picnic. The second weekend is the playground show in Tamaqua.
Yeah.
But it's also the MGK concert. So I'm not going to have money for a bit.
Yeah.
And then the following weekend is someone's birthday party.
Who?
Colette's kid.
Oh, okay.
And then the following weekend is the Country Junction show.
Okay, yeah. So there's 2 shows that are kind of just like, they're not, I don't want to say they're non-canon shows, but they're more like community shows, and they're private shows not private, but public shows. So they're not like actual like canon wrestling shows. We're still going to do them. So if you guys want to come, I think they're both free events at the Playground and also at Country Junction. The Country Junction one, don't hold me to up. I'm not 100% sure. But my belts are supposedly getting shipped out Tuesday. I said maybe because communication has been really lacking there. Like, I'm like, hey man, like, before you mail anything out, can you at least show me the other belt that I'm paying for? That I just want to make sure it looks good, and if you have to make any changes, I'd rather you not just ship it so I can see. They've been really busy with work. They said things are crazy, so I understand, but I don't really know what's happening there. But that's pretty much all I got for the recap. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Anything I missed or anything? No? Okay. Well, let's get into today's topic. And it was supposed to be things I learned from my 20s, but I didn't want to pigeonhole it. I want to kind of dive into a little bit of everything because I'm always learning. I learn week to week, day to day. I live my moments in my life, moment to moment, hour to hour, minute to minute. I don't really try to plan too far ahead, and I don't always keep myself that I have to be the same person I was yesterday. If I have to change, I have to change. If I don't see things in a different perspective, I've learned, which is a thing I'll probably get into more, of not being so committed to the fucking thing. Like, stay true to your morals and stay true to what's right, but also, like, be willing to have the conversation. And if someone around you is like, hey man, you're not making me feel good, or hey, I think you're not doing this, and if you care about me, this is something that I would need for you to do to make this better. And if you care about me, you will. And be willing to do that if you genuinely care about the thing and it doesn't go against for who you are as a person. I think that's healthy for friendships, relationships, building relationships, fixing relationships, and for yourself. And that's something I kind of want to talk about on this episode, is just things I've learned since I was younger, but in general. So yeah, that's exactly how I want to do this. I had to make a quick cut because my notes got fucked up. But like I said, I'm still figuring out life and just everything else in general, and definitely some lessons that have stuck out with me, and I kind of have them broken down into a few different categories and topics that I want to dive into with all of you. And the first one is that life isn't fair, and that's fine. It's completely fine. It sucks, and things aren't going to always go your way, and I think one of the biggest things for me that I had to learn about, that I'll also get into, is that not only is life not fair, but you are not the fucking main character in everyone's story. Everyone has shit going on. Everyone has things in your mind, and you are not the first thing on a lot of people's minds, and you need to get that, and you need to figure that shit out too. And if things are happening, it's probably not done personally. Sometimes it is, and you're probably justified in it, but not always. One of the three things when it comes to about life being not fair and things that I struggled with is people getting opportunities that you don't. Seeing what you believe to be less qualified people succeed, and working hard and not seeing immediate results or rewards. I have experienced this in the world of wrestling. I've experienced this, and I still do, in content creation, in jobs, in relationships, and sometimes you could do everything right and still lose because life's not fair, and that's okay. When did I first realize that life wasn't fair? Very young. You learn that right away when you're like, man, why am I so little? Why is my body so small? Why am I weak? Why is everyone developing quicker than me? Why do I work so hard to be good at a sport, and because someone has a better last name or their parents are more involved in the community, they are in the school, they get the opportunity that I don't. And reacting to that was bad. I didn't do great. I quit things that I was really passionate about. I walked away from things as I was like, man, I put all this time in. It's not worth it. I don't need to fucking waste my time here anymore. And I wish I would have kind of persevered through. I wish I would have stuck to it, because now and later on in life, I have done that. And it's been more rewarding for staying to the path and staying to what I was trying to do. And when you stop expecting fairness is kind of when you play by your own rules and you do things your way, and you stop. Another thing I've learned is stop giving a fuck about what other people think or do. You cannot control everything. You have to let things go. I am a control freak. I am a control freak in so many assets of my life, because I've lived through a fight or flight method. I don't. Sometimes, even like when I would partake in things, I would not fully let go mentally, and I would force myself to stay in a somewhat sober state while I'm drinking or taking things or smoking. And that ruined my experience because I just didn't let it go. I just didn't let naturalness take over. The wrestling, like, I go to these places and I'm a content creator and I worked hard to get in these spots, and then somebody else kind of walks in the door and you've been there for years and they get treated like royalty right off the bat, and you're like, oh, well, why the fuck are everyone excited for them and wearing their merchandise and wearing their t-shirts and like acting like they're the greatest thing for the community, and I'm in this thing 5 years doing the same thing and nobody gives a shit. Like, I haven't had someone buy a fucking t-shirt that's a pro wrestler. Like, why like, and then you step back and look and you're like, oh, because they gave most of them away, or they have a different statue than you do, you go about things differently than they do, you're seen more as a different light, and that's fair. That's not a problem. It's not fair. That's not how you want to be seen, but it is what it is. When it comes to content creation, like, I work really hard. I stay true to myself. I try to stay natural. I try to not be overproduced. I try everything to look professional and sound professional, but not overproduce it so it doesn't seem like it's real. And then you see people who openly say, I'm not here to be real. I'm not here. I want to be exactly what I need to be to get money and grow and make money doing this. And it's like, all right, cool. And they blow up and you stay behind because you're not chasing the trends. We talked about that on different podcasts. Jobs, you go to your job, and this happens to me so goddamn much. I go to a job and I for the most part, I keep my head down. I do my job. I work really hard. I don't tell people that I struggle with a physical disorder and I have body pain, because one or two things happen. Either they find a way to get rid of you, or they beat the shit out of you until you quit. And I try to keep that to myself. But I will go in there and work super, super hard and get really good at the jobs people don't want to do, in hopes that, hey man, I'm doing a good job, I'm working really hard, let's advance this person. Like, they see things bigger level, they come up with cool ideas, they're innovative, they create good teams, they show how teamwork can help the job get done. And I get stuck because I get stuck doing the jobs nobody else wants to do. I don't complain when I do the jobs that nobody else wants to do, because everybody else complains they don't want to do those jobs. And I'm just easier to keep where I am because I don't buck the system. That sucks. Relationships, things just aren't always going to go your way in a relationship, and that's just a relationship in general. When it comes to friendships, when it comes to parents, when it comes to siblings, cousins, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, partners, it's not always fair. You're not always going to get your way, and you have to kind of adjust to that. That's that's just kind of the first thing of just life isn't fair, and that's okay. And that you kind of have to swallow that and work at it. But once again, stay true to who you are and fight for what you believe in. You can't just lay down for everything. Lesson 2 is most people are fighting battles that you can't see. And this is where I think I struggle a lot too, because I think one of the biggest things people don't do in the world is they don't outwardly look at others. They don't have empathy. I think we struggle with empathy. I think we live in a world where it's been openly said by people that empathy is not okay to have, and it's a sign of weakness, and you need to be strong and fucking step on everyone's neck, step over these people, and just move on. And we don't care when people are struggling with depression or anxiety or financial stress or family issues or just general personal struggles. And we all do. No, you're not special if you have anxiety. You're not special if you have depression. You're not special if you have financial stress. We're all in that boat. So if you think because you have that, everyone has to bend to you, they're not going to, because they are as well. and you can be there for each other and support each other and listen to the person going through it. But at the end of the day, like, we all kind of have to walk that journey and figure things out on our own. And that's part of the life experience. Is another thing I'll kind of throw in here that we might dive into later, is that we are, to me at least, this is just my experience, and maybe this is just a class thing or just me in general, but it just generally seems like my life path is to just fucking struggle and to fight and to claw and to just keep from as early as I can remember to life till currently right now. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. But then when I step back and I look back and I see my claw marks and my scratch marks, and I look back and see in a general thing like, man, I've had experiences and moments and things in my life that I wouldn't have had if I wouldn't have fought, scratched, and clawed to get where I am right now. And I step back and go, it was worth it. It was worth to go through those struggles. It was worth it for things to suck. It was worth it to be broke. It was worth it because if it was just handed to me and it was just given to me, I don't think I'd appreciate it as much. And I had to stop and look around and just be thankful of what I went through to appreciate it. And that was something I had to do even just recently. It's just like, yo, man, stop setting your fucking bar so goddamn high that every single time you surpass it, because you are fucking growing, that you're not even realizing you're surpassing your goal because you don't stop to look around every now and then. Stop and breathe. Stop. Look around. See what you're going through. See what you've accomplished. See how much further you went than before. Today, I was uploading and fixing my YouTube channel, and I scrolled back to the very first video I uploaded. I didn't know I started this channel in 2022. No idea that my first video I uploaded was not 22, 4 years ago, 26, 25, 20, yeah, 22. My first video and my first interview was in 2022. I didn't realize I thought I've only been doing the ABJ aspect 2 years. And I thought all my other content was longer. I don't realize how long I've been doing what I'm doing because I don't fucking stop and look. I generally think interviews happened that I did with somebody that were only a couple months ago. And I'm like, no, that was 2.5 years ago you talked to that person. Like, because I live in just second by second, moment by moment, I don't realize how long things have passed. Yeah, I'm so hyper attention to the detail until it's behind me, and then it's in my rear view and I don't care anymore. And for how quick I'm willing to put things in the rear view and just keep moving forward, I still hang on to baggage too. And I need to learn how to just get that baggage and throw it behind me. I have personal struggles with people. I've talked about it with Alex. I don't give a fuck with my personal past beefs with these people. I talk about it because it's part of the story, but I genuinely don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, most of the people who have actively sought out to fucking take me down are fucking quitting. They're quitting, they're retiring, they're going away because they weren't built for it. They weren't built for the longevity. And they weren't willing to fucking file their nails down and claw and scratch and fight their way up. And once I realized that like they have a fire and most of their fire was built off of the energy I was giving them of keeping this fucking feud alive, once I put them in my rear view, their fire died and mine grew fire because I fueled my own fire instead of fueling theirs. Let that shit go. If someone doesn't like you, just move on. Move on. They don't like you? Cool. Unfriend, block, whatever you need to do, and move the fuck on with your life. No disrespect. No, I don't hate you. I don't want the worst for you. Like, I hope you're successful. I hope you do great. But like, if you're not in my corner at this point in time in my life, I'm gonna keep the car moving, and you're welcome to sit in the passenger seat, but if you're not here for the right reasons, I'm going to ask you to leave. I just can't waste time with people who aren't willing to move forward. And I had to learn that as well. This is the big one. You don't have to fit in. Anthony, listen to yourself here. ABJ, Tony, whatever the fuck you're going by these days, you don't have to fit in. From the moment I was introduced to people to the moment it was cousins, family, friends, school, I fought so fucking hard to be accepted. I've been a part of things that I probably didn't even really like because it was the cool thing to do. I've done things that I didn't like because it was the cool thing to do, and that's what my friends were doing. And I tried so hard to fit in everywhere I go and to be accepted, but feeling different the entire time I was doing it. Like, this isn't who I am. This isn't what I'm about. This isn't what I truly believe in. This is not my passions, my interests, my things. And I fucking changed, and I acted certain ways and pretended to be certain things because it was what I thought would work to fit in, or I would water myself down to fit in with people that I thought were cool because I maybe thought of them differently, and I was like, oh, what do they think of me? What are who fucking cares? Who cares? And when I stopped And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm fully behind this one. I still struggle with this, but I'm getting a lot better. But like, I learned to honor my interests more. I learned to lean more into my wrestling fandom. I don't care that I'm the wrestling guy. Oh, ABJ, wrestling. He's always wearing a wrestling shirt. Yes, because I fucking love the art form. I think it's great. I generally attach myself around people who are more that are into their fandom, and I appreciate that, and I think that's good that they fucking accept that. I like alternative culture. I like being a little spooky. I like being a little punky. I like being a little elder emo. I like the occult. I like the paranormal. Like I like that shit. I lean into the darker aspects of life and question things and not just listen to what I've been told, and I dive deeper. I use my dark humor a lot, and some people don't like it. It makes them uncomfortable. That's great. I'm not your person. We don't have to share energy. I'm going to go this way. You go that way. No disrespect, but that was a big thing as well. It's just things that make you feel different growing up eventually become part of your identity. And I've had to learn that much later. I grew my hair long. I pierced my nose. I gauge in my ears. I'm almost 40. It's not a midlife crisis. I'm just finally accepting of who I am. This is how I always wanted to be. Always wanted to look. Always wanted to dress. I like darker shit. I wanted to be this person, and now I'm finally becoming it, and it feels great. And there's more things I would like to do and discover about myself and walk down that path and learn. And it may be for me, it may not be me, but I just generally look at something and go, that's interesting. That's a cool community. That's a cool way they go about things. That's a cool thing they do. I'm interested. I would like to learn more about it. And the best way to learn about something is just go do it. And if you don't like it, don't commit to it. You can easily just, not for me, see you later, and then move on. But so like, I tried to hide aspects of, sexuality. I mean, I'm a straight man, but like I indulge in certain things in that, and I hid that for a long time. Interests or passions I'm into. I like the dark, occulty, spooky stuff. I hid that for a long time because people who are religious or Christian freak out and they think you're a bad person if you wear a little darker clothing or wear t-shirts with the devil on it. And I kind of leaned more into that. Music, or different arts, or things like that. Growing up, I was like, man, that might be a cool movie, and I haven't never watched it. Because growing up, I thought it was a girl movie, and I'm a masculine dude. I'm not watching that. And now I'm kind of going back because I'm with a dark, spooky girl who also is a girly girl who's trying to hide it as well. But like, also have 2 daughters who are into girly things and kids movies, and I'm just like, I've never seen these, and I'm slowly experiencing that life, which is fun. And there's like the parts that I'm proud of myself now. I'm proud of myself that I've made it this far, that I was willing to not be stubborn like most of the men in my life that I grew up around, and are willing to let my guard down and adapt and learn how to become like water, like Bruce Lee said, become water. Water's very powerful. Water can destroy mountains. It can destroy earth. It can dissolve. It can take over. But also water can become anything it needs to be. It could fill any object. But also if there was enough of it, it can also drown that. So be water, And the things that make you different are usually the things that make your experience and make you as a person more memorable. I think me kind of always being myself, and even though I don't feel like I've hit my final form, I think that's when I meet people and talk to people and I'm genuinely me. I think that's a huge reason why I think people attach themselves to me. I think I was kind of telling Lily early, like the control aspect of me. I for a while with Lily, I was like, man, you need to like try this or do this, because like she had a tough upbringing and a tough go at life, and she's talked about it numerous times in this podcast. And like, for the first 2 years of our relationship, it was me kind of like dragging her kicking and screaming to better herself. And I was just like, I can't do that anymore. That's not going to help. The only, and I don't know if it helped because we haven't really talked more into it. If she wants to pick the mic up and dive more into it, she can. But like, I kind of just told her, I was like, I've kind of learned that you can't force change everyone around you. You have to be the light in the dark room. You have to just inspire people with your own actions and your own attitude and the way you do things. And if people are into it, they'll follow suit. Because like it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's just, it goes for everybody. If you genuinely want someone in your life to change, you have to change yourself first and be the inspiration to do so. Be the leader. Go ahead, you have the microphone.
I think that it's also important to state, though, that like although you're not wrong that you were dragging me kicking and screaming, I think that an important thing that some people I think miss, and I don't think it's purposeful that they miss it, but it's like no, people don't always want you to fix them. Sometimes they just need that support or that like you were saying before about being the light in the darkness. Just sit with me. Just sit with me in the dark. I'm not saying I want to make your life miserable. I'm not saying I want to bring you down, but I don't need you to try to give me opportunities for X, Y, and Z. Like I need to figure out what's in front of me right now. Yeah. I don't need to be jumped into the next thing necessarily.
Yeah.
And I think that was for a lot of the beginning of our relationship. I was trying to balance a lot of things that were going on in my past with things that were going on in my more recent past, and still try to figure out where I was going presently. Like at the beginning of our relationship, living wise, I was very confused about a lot of things and trying to figure out where my future was and trying to get to the goals that I was already trying to reach, and doing all of that at the same time. But not to say that you didn't, as you said, pull me along kicking and screaming, but I think it did take you a while to realize, like you were saying, like you can't lead a horse to water. I wanted to get to the water, but I didn't want you to just give me the water.
I was laying the path down, like, hey, here's 19 things that you can do to do it. And I would like kind of lay the bricks down and be like, and you're like, I could lay my own bricks down.
And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going this way with it.
And a big thing you said too, and I think it's great for a lot of people, and I had to learn to do it, is just listen. If it's not, I am the type of person, as I am a natural problem solver. I see a situation, I listen to a story, and before you're even finished talking, I have 13 solutions in my Batman brain of how you can change your situation to make your thing better. And not everyone needs that, or not everybody wants that. They just they need someone to dump onto, and for you to shut the fuck up and let them dump and let them talk. And then just say, okay, whatever you need, I'm here, and give them a hug. And then that's the end of it. I don't always need to input to their situation to make them feel better, because in my brain, I thought that was the best thing I can do to help the situation. I want to be a problem solver. I want to provide. I want to give my insight to the situation. And it always wasn't the best thing to do. I had to learn to shut the fuck up.
I think something that I've been working on, as well as I've noticed that you've kind of picked up on as well, is that all the time you don't always want advice. Sometimes it's like, I don't need to give advice here. They're just looking for emotional support. Like, I don't need to input what I would do or how I think things could get better quickly, this way, that way, or whatever. And like you were saying, like, oh yeah, I'm leading the pathway this way. And I'm saying, yeah, but I've already been working on this path for so long. Like, I don't want to just give up everything I was doing. Not to say that your way was not more efficient or just as well or whatever the case was, but I felt like you were kind of picking it up from where you knew. Yeah. And I was already working so hard on something completely different that our timelines just hadn't met yet. That fork in the road just hadn't gotten there yet.
Completely understood. Yeah. Next lesson here is we kind of talked about it on the other ones. People come and go. Not every friendship or relationship is meant to last forever. Sometimes people are just here for the season. And that's not to be disrespectful, and that's not trying to come off as, I use people, or, I use people and let them go. That's not what I'm saying at all. Is that sometimes just like someone comes in your life and you're meant to give them something, or they're meant to give you something, or you're meant to have an experience, and you don't have to, just if you lose touch with them, or you grow apart, or you just have different life plans, or you see things differently than they see things differently, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to end in like a knockdown, drag out fight. Cause that's another thing I've learned too, is like most situations I'm in feel like they have to end in like the old school childish emotion thing of like, cool, I think it's just easier if I absolutely make them fucking hate me and we end it that way than just being like, hey, I care about you. I hope the best for you, but I'm going to go here and you go there. And I really, really, truly hope and wish you the best, but we need to end communication. And that sometimes is good. Like, for example, going back to Kelly, we did that and we drifted apart. We grew, we found our interests, we grew and we healed. But at the core, I think there's a genuine relationship there with myself and Andy and Kelly and a few other people. And it's just like, I think we've developed enough that we can. I don't know if we'll be like we were all the time, but like it was nice to see and compliment each other on our growth and what we've been through and proud of each other and rekindle that. Sometimes stepping away from things is healthy. Don't hold on to things. If you know deep down inside, like, this is probably something I should just get away from, do it. Do it. It's probably the better thing. It's not about accepting and just holding on to it and fighting. Sometimes it's more healthy just to be like, hey, I generally don't think you like me. I don't generally think we have the same interests. I generally think if like I'm always in a room and all you do is just shit talk and trash and talk negative about everyone around you. And I get caught up in that shit too, especially in the world of wrestling. And just like, oh fuck, what are they saying when I'm around? You know what I mean? All right. It's better than Mike's. Way better than Mike's.
Better than Gears.
It has more of a peach flavor. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. We're back. Fucking Sus Madre is driving me fucking crazy.
It would be mi madre with you saying it.
Your mother, not mine.
She's not my mom. She's your mom.
I disowned everybody. All right. Life's not fair when you're trying to record and everybody wants to fucking do everything on their time and clock. I got a beer. I have a Hazelton Hero by Warhorse Brewing Company. I already did a review on it, so go watch it. But we're back. Had to take a quick break, and we got some beers. We moved some couches, and we're ready to rock. Where was I at? People come and go. Now we're at lesson. The next lesson here is your passions matter. Your passions matter. The things you love aren't stupid just because others don't understand them. And this goes to everything that I'm into, whether it's my lifestyle choices, whether it's wrestling, whether it's horror, whether it's beer culture, whether it's music, content creation. What?
Your bracelet's making a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry. I fidget. I don't have anything to play with that's not noisy. I need a fucking... Sorry. I'm not stressing, but it's just like my anxiety's high. I wish I can get back to smoking. I wish that could be a thing. Life isn't fair. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Content creation. Like I generally had a lot of anxiety about like every time I want to explore something or do something or be passionate about something, and then I tell other people about it because it's not the norm or it's not what other people like. It's like it's looked down upon. It's deemed as a negative. It's deemed as, why would you do that? And then people input their own takes on it and what they feel about it, and it makes others feel insecure, and then people don't want to do it, and it's just a whole nightmare. And I got tired, honestly, of that too. Passions help shape my life and connect me to the people I have now. It's because I leaned into those things, and I am passionate about those things, and I want to experience those things. And these hobbies and these passions have changed my life. They put really cool opportunities in front of me. They really put cool moments in front of me. And the communities they introduced me to are really cool because they're more of your tribe, I guess that makes sense. So never apologize about caring about something or something that you're interested in, unless it's like obviously harming you. I don't want people to listen to, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a fucking life coach, but if like you're on meth, that's not a passion you chase. All right. I don't know. Just disclaimer, I guess. As I drink beer, okay. It didn't taste exactly. I never drank it out of a can. That's probably my problem. And it's really cold. Success takes longer than you think. Life isn't fair. Most people underestimate the timeline. YouTube growth, wrestling involvement, building the brand of ABJ, self-personal growth, whether it's your job and career, whether it's your mental health, whether it's your physical health, whether it's your physical transformation if you're starting to work out or transform yourself, whether it's just changing your overall mindset. That all takes time, and it's not going to happen overnight. It just sometimes it feels like you're left behind. Expectations that you had leading into it, whether it be instantaneous or a month or a week or a year, and people kind of like, hey, if it doesn't happen for me end of the year, I'm going to tap out. And I've been in those shoes. I've openly said those things. And I've like, hey, if the content doesn't do well by the end of this year, I'm going to have to adjust. Adjusting is fine, but don't quit. And what did I really discover by keep pushing forward is, like, once again, I look back and I go, holy shit, my first fucking piece of content on my YouTube channel was in September 2022. I mean, it's 2026, and I didn't even realize I was going that long. And here I am saying I can't do another year when I don't even remember when I fucking started. That doesn't make any sense. How do you not know when you started, but you know when you're going to end? Like, you've already made it this far. Keep going. Be proud of it. I feel like I built this whole library of content that, like, people can go back and look at their lives and look at their stories and look at their history of doing an interview with me and being like, man, that was a cool little moment of my life, and I appreciate that. I feel like I make stuff that's timeless, and I'm excited about that. Most people quit because the journey takes longer than they expected. They want instant results. They look at everyone around them. They self-compare themselves to other people, and they think that it should happen that way, and it's never going to. And I think this is the last lesson I think I have. Yes, it is last lesson is be yourself. And that's what I've had to learn for the past couple of years, is be yourself. And it's trying to, like, impress people isn't the way to do it. Chasing approval and just learning your authenticity, learning who you are, being unapologetic to who you are. But also be willing to adapt. If you genuinely care about people and you don't feel like this is breaking who you are as a person, it is okay to make changes. But if the people around you aren't also willing to change, and they're not also willing to accept certain aspects of you, then you can't keep bending yourself to chase that approval and impress them and be loved, because you're afraid of everything else that might come with that, of being alone or not having them as a friend. A friend has to meet you halfway. There has to be a little 50-50, at least 50-50, right? Or even in a relationship, I've had to learn that not every time in the relationship one person in it's going to be at 100. And if you're at 80 and they're at 30, you gotta try to balance it back out to a 50-50 so you can each be 100, and you each have to fill each other's cup a little bit every now and then. And if you're around people, and not just a relationship but friendship or friends or family, and you feel like you're always the one making the text, making the call, filling up their cup, and the only time they reach out to you is if they need you or they want you for something, or if it's to do them a favor, that's not a friendship. It sucks. It sucks to hear, but it's not a friendship. And you have to be yourself, and you have to put yourself first sometimes too. The right people will appreciate the real version of you. And if they don't, then you got to move on. And there's a lot of human beings in the world. And I know it's tough to hear if you live in, like, where I am, in a small community where if you meet someone, they're probably going to be around your life for the rest of your life, or they're going to be in immediate vicinity. Even if you stop being their friend, you're going to bump into them at the gas station. You're going to bump into them at work. You're going to bump into them at the local bar, at the hangout spot, mutual friends. It's going to happen. But it's fine. But it's just like, you can always travel. You can always go other places. You can go to the next town over and meet new people. The world is so big. If you just go on Google Map, click on where you are, and just keep scrolling out, and just realize that you're a speck. You are a speck of sand in this universe of the world and the universe and everything like that. So don't get hung up on just one person if that's not for you. And that's pretty much it. And if you're younger and you're listening to this, ask for permission because I might say crazy things. If you're not younger and you're still older and you're figuring things out, that's a true thing. People are going to learn life all the time. It's just chase your dreams, be who you are. And if you have people around you, you have kids, you have friends, you have people you generally care about, fixing yourself is going to fix them. Because you're going to set your own boundaries, you're going to heal yourself, and you're going to be the light in the dark that they need. They're going to say, man, how did you do that? And then you say, man, I became more authentic. I've been myself. I did these certain things. I practiced things. I worked on myself, and this is what I did to do it. And it might work for you, but you need to get in the mind state to do that. You can't force someone else to do it. And that essentially comes down to you. You have to feed your own fire. You can't keep putting out everybody else's or feeding everybody else's. The best way to end those fires is stop giving them energy, and the best way to help other fires grow is make yours so hot that it just naturally rubs off on them that you don't even realize you're doing it. Nobody has the life figured out. Growth takes time. Mistakes teach lessons. Every successful person, for the most part, is standing on a mountain of their failures, and you don't need to have all the answers today. And don't act like or pretend like you do. It's okay to be wrong. Ego death is a big thing too, so stop doing that as well. I'm still learning every day, but some of these lessons have taught me everything I needed to know so far. The older I get, the more I realize growth never really stops. And that's pretty much everything I have for this week's episode. Anything else you want to add? Did we do questions, or was that just for a vlog thing?
What do you mean
questions like from the deck? Was that something we did in the podcast, or was that just a vlog?
That was
just a vlog. Is there anything you want to add to the thing, or any questions or anything you want to kick in towards the end here?
I think that you aptly spoke on what resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to take away from that in any way. I do think that you are constantly growing, and I think that just looking at where we were at, going on 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, to where we are now, individually, not even physically where we are, but mentally where we are. I think that we've both grown and both continue to do so. But I would say that we're both kind of on a healing journey. And I think, like, as you were saying, like, the older you get, the more you realize it doesn't just get easier. Like, the struggle's never really over, but you're also never done growing either.
Yeah. The second you think you're done growing and learning, you're probably already lost.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything you want me to elaborate more on, or anything you want to type into?
What did you want to talk on that TV show or that thing that we were just watching before?
I mean, if you have, I kind of asked you earlier if you had anything else that you wanted to add to
it. Which part?
In the beginning when I was talking about it.
Oh, I'm talking about the Matthew Lillard thing we just watched.
Yeah. Oh, you can set it up about what you were watching, what you're showing me, because it's definitely going to lead into future content.
Yeah. So this is something that I've seen clips up. I have to look up the guy from Late Night with the Devil, David, and I can never pronounce his last name.
It's like Grave Conversations or
yes,
something?
the podcast is called Grave Conversations, and he has conversations with people that usually takes place inside of a coffin, and he asks them questions about their life, but also questions about death and questions about how they process things and things of that nature. And I think that, like,
you know how you know this channel is good? It has 64,000 followers. 64.8K subscribers. He's a award-winning actor who's famous and popular, but he's talking about real life shit, and he's not even at 100K subscribers.
Right.
That right
it's
there
sad.
puts in no, it's not sad. That puts in perspective that, like, hey, this guy's famous, and he's interviewing Neil Tyson DeGrassi. He's interviewing
like
Matthew
celebrities.
Lillard, Weird Al Yankovic, Kevin Smith, and he only has 64,000 subscribers. And in a world that you're like, you need subscribers to do it, you don't. Like, he's famous, but he's making his art.
Right.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So his name, David Dasmalchian. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not.
Yeah.
But I've seen a few clips of his before where he's interviewing other people, and earlier today a clip came on. Matthew Lillard is interviewing him in this newer episode, just dropped a few days ago. But one of the questions he was asked was, you've had to portray character deaths so many times, and are you comfortable with that? Like watching it back and things of that nature. And he responded with, as someone who's been on this earth for 50 years, I've tried to cut my time short a lot of times, and it is really difficult for me. And I think that, like, this has not very much to do with what your subject matter here was, but I think that to some degree it does, because keep going when your last podcast was what things that made me want to quit and reasons why I'm still going, and here I think it's learning a lot about like who you are and how you heal and how you continue to grow from that as well. Mm-hmm. But I think that as people who have talked about our struggle with that mental challenge of like of vitality and death, do you ever stop and think back of those times of like, there was just so many times where I wanted to quit and I didn't, and like looking at it now, like I'm only looking at it from 3 years later. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And looking back and going, wow, what if I did quit? What if I did just stop? Because everybody hated me, and I hated everything about me, and I hated everything about where this was going. And what if I did just stop?
To not come off selfish, or not come off as maybe offending people when I say this, I wish I had the answer to be like, man, yeah, if I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't have gotten to this. And I know that might sound stupid after what I just said about looking back and appreciating the smaller things, but I don't generally think I've hit my peak yet. I don't think I've hit my moment. And I think when I look back at like, I'm glad I didn't do it, because I feel like I'm getting closer to that peak. And right. I understand that my journey is going to take longer. I'm not going to be, I'm going to be older than 40 possibly, because like, I'm going to be honest, like without getting too dark and morbid, I never generally looked at my life past the age of 40.
Right.
Like I always had in my brain, like I don't really see a future past 40, past 45. Like I generally didn't want to be here this long. I'm coming up on my 40th birthday. Like, this is a big deal to me because I never thought I'd be here.
Right.
I kind of had a mental checkout of like, since like as early as I can remember, is like 40 was the year where I was going to pull the plug. I'm not going to, please don't think I'm like thinking that way, but it's just like, no, I have more of a purpose to keep fighting, because I generally feel like I can make a difference, and I can leave a legacy, and I can do cool things, and I'm not there yet, and I want to keep fighting for it, if that makes sense.
No, I think that that's fair, and I think that I think my takeaway from watching that clip and going, you know what, that one clip made me seek out watching an entire episode from him, but I think that the reason that it does is to some degree... maybe this is just my mental hang up. I don't know if other people experience this as well. I'm sure maybe it's a PTSD thing as well, but I think that when I watch certain scenes where I have felt what that character is feeling, it puts me back in that mind state. Do you know what I mean? So him like explaining that, like, yeah, there have been times where I've tried to cut my time short, and it's really difficult for me to watch back or even play out those emotions or those scenes and things like that. One of the first, I think, real visceral moments I had with watching something on screen was in It Chapter 2, but another instance of it was 13 Reasons Why. One of the last episodes got not even very graphic, but it was just the emotion behind it that really got to me. And Euphoria has gotten me in that very like abysmal state. And I think that like going back and watching those things, I think to some degree, like I said, I do feel it like as I'm watching them, but afterwards I'm like, wow, look at how far you've come since you first felt those feelings.
Yeah. I lean into those uncomfortability things, whether it be music, sadness, breakup, heartache, depression, loss, grief, death, suicide, with art. And I guess it helps me build the wall so I don't feel it anymore, which isn't healthy. But that's just how I
don't think so much that it's not healthy as much as it's not it's not looked at as a good coping mechanism.
Yeah, I don't think I'm building it up so I don't deal with it. I think
it's how it helps you cope.
No, it's also I just like desensitize myself from it. Like, here's a genuine question for you. I want to do a whole episode on death. Like, that's going to be a thing. I'm going to do a solo one, but I'm also going to do a 5 questions and probably do it with you. But like, how do you feel when you're at a funeral?
So most recently I was at a funeral in January, and it was an awkward feeling in the people that were there, that were present, were mostly people who have only talked about me for the past 10 years, but haven't actually seen me or been around me or even know who I am compared to who I was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. But the person that passed away never stopped caring about me in that 10 years when I thought for sure, you know, I kind of, for context, it was a family member of my ex-husband's, the father of my children. And it was an awkward feeling to be there, but at the same time, it was like, if you guys want to talk about stuff, whatever, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the person who passed away. Mm-hmm. And it was a very different feeling than most funerals that I've been to. A lot of funerals that I go to, it's weird for me. I would say that the first funeral I went to was my great grandfather's, and everyone around me was my family, and they were all crying, they were upset, and I wasn't very connected to him, so I didn't feel that. And then in high school, I had a few classmates pass away that hit me really hard. I was, an emotional teen. I've had funerals I went to from people that I was in the military with, to, friends of friends or family members of friends. But I think the only ones that I've really cried at were those teenage ones. I think that I looked at death so much as like, I think I've always looked at like the beauty and the darkness, you know what I mean? But I think that as far as death goes, I don't get sad for people who are dead. I'm like, they're free. They don't feel sad. Like, I don't want to feel sad that this person is dead. I might be sad that I might miss their company, but they're not hurting from anything. They have that ultimate freedom of, I'm not stressed about anything. I'm not sad about anything. They're gone now. And I hope people, like, I do believe in some sort of spirituality. I do hope that people do rest in peace. I do hope that, like, their soul has found peace. But I don't think I really have an appropriate response to funerals that, like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll go, so-and-so passed away. All right, well, I'll be at the funeral. I'll pay my respects. But I don't get overly sad at funerals.
Yeah, I'll get sad at funerals, but not for the reasons everybody else does. I think, like, I'll get sad when I listen to how people are genuinely proud of the legacy that person left behind, and when someone goes up there and says stuff that's truthful about the person, like, hey man, like my Uncle Jody when he passed away. My Uncle Jody was this dude would do anything for anybody, right? But like, he donated his time to be a umpire for local small baseball teams and shit like that, and like people being like, yo, if 3 a.m, Jody, I need help, my car's broke down, I need to ride to work, like, he'd be the first person to jump in and help you out. Like, that was kind of cool to hear genuine people be like, yo, he left a cool legacy and he like did the right things and people remember him for that. But like, I also experienced jealousy. Like I almost like that. Like man, you have that eternal peace. Whether there is an afterlife or not, I don't really care about that. But like the fact that you can just like
you're at peace.
Like I just think of myself and it's a lot of self-reflecting, and I think that's what a lot of people do. But then I also get annoyed by that at funerals because I think most people's grief is selfishness.
Or they try to make it about themselves.
It's about themselves. Like their sadness is, I am not going to see that person anymore. And it's just like, it's not for you today.
Right. And I think that that's something that
but it also
always,
is. Like, I don't know. It's a weird dichotomy.
It is, but I think that I think it's frustrating when the vibe is everyone's happily, contemplating or reminiscing about memories and things like that, and someone's like, yeah, well, remember this time, or like, do you remember when they did this and it made the family mad because of XYZ, or like, what are you doing? Like, this is a time to remember them in a respectful way, to say goodbye to them. If you're holding on to a grudge and you go to the funeral, don't say anything. Don't go to the funeral.
A quiet room and fucking take it up with yourself.
Right. Yeah. Speak to them in whatever way you need to by yourself, but you don't need to take away from everyone else's.
Yeah, you don't have to add the energy to the room.
Right.
Yeah, I have gotten in trouble at funerals because I'll like openly make people laugh, because that's another thing I try to do is I try to be that healer or protector for people.
That's a bad thing.
I've gotten in trouble for it, but I also had people who told me like, hey, that was my mom laying there and you literally gave me the positive things that I needed to know of how like you made her laugh, and she genuinely liked you as a person, and that helped me through the day. Like, so it's like, I don't know, I
think that there is a time and place, but I also do think that there is never a bad time to bring up a positive memory. However, I will say that I don't think making someone laugh at a funeral is a reason for someone to get upset. But I've been at a funeral where someone was like, you know what he'd want me to do right now, and drop trow and mooned the entire congregation. And I'm like, my guy, like he dipped out during the viewing to go to the bar next door and came back hammered. Like, don't do that. That's what are you doing?
I don't hate it.
You're not helping the situation.
It helped him.
Come on.
I love it.
That was one of the wildest funerals I ever went to. That was not even someone I knew very well. That was just, hey, I was dating a girl, and it was her uncle's funeral, and everyone in that funeral was nuts.
Yeah. Well, we'll get more into this in a future episode. The next episode you're going to hear me talk about is episode 5. We hit 5 of these episodes. I promise I will try to make these more frequently, and I won't skip them. So it'll be episode 5, being the weird kid or the outsider. Will be the next episode, and we're going to talk about that and break it down. Now, once again, the things I say in this podcast are not for you to fucking, it's not your journey, it's mine. I hope a piece of me helps you in your journey, and if it makes you feel relatable, if it makes you feel good about yourself, if you made it this far, leave a comment below and say, hey man, this is how I felt about this, or you were off base, or you were right or wrong. I want those conversations. I need that feedback. The more you guys interact, you comment, like, share, it helps me grow. I can't stress it enough. If you've made it this far in by now and you don't, you suck. Fuck you. No. You're probably listening in your car, then you just go about your day, then you're like, I'm going to go do that, then you forget. I understand that too. But thank you. Make sure you guys check out the links below to follow me on social media. T-shirts will be leaving on the 6th. So if you want to collect your ABJ T-shirts, there's 3 you can get right now. The League, the ABJ 570 Hub shirt, and the Irish shirt. Once they're gone, they are gone. I put a poll up about 4 shirt designs that would go up, and most of them, everyone liked all of them. So I think what I'm going to do is on the 7th, I'm going to drop 1 t-shirt, and then the next week I'll drop another t-shirt. I'll drop 4 t-shirts a month, 1 a week, but at the end of the month, they're going to leave the same time a new one comes in. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do, is roll them out that way. I don't want to push too much out because I know people are broke and I don't want people to miss out on opportunities, but also like these help me pay some bills and keep these podcasts alive. So keep buying a t-shirt and stuff is a thing. If you buy a shirt or a piece of merchandise, take a photo of you with it or take a photo of it, because on this website, I can change the product photos of you guys wearing it. So it could be the picture of the shirt and then a picture of one of my people or one of you or someone I care about and love because it's you wearing my stuff that I can put you on the website. I want my website to be full of photos of people wearing my stuff and being proud of wearing it. So make sure you send me some photos of you in that stuff. Trying to think else. Follow me on social media. I'm on pretty much everything. I use everything to post on, but if you want to contact me, reach out. Facebook is huge. Instagram, Snapchat, that's pretty much the main ones. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Threads, and I'm on Twitter, but I don't really check anything on there. Also, I'm going to be going live more on Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite. So that'll be available for you guys if you want to come see me on a live thing. Game streaming will be coming back because I'm paying for it and not doing it. I'm just trying to get up some funds to get a new game so I can play for you guys. And 5 questions with ABJ. 2 episodes a week will end in July, and then they will just be 1 a week. 5 questions with ABJ will stay on a Monday, and these podcasts will move to a Friday. So it gives more time in between episodes, and I'm not flooding everyone's timeline with a bunch of stuff. Vlogs will be once a month. I will try to do the vlogs and keep you guys up to date. I appreciate you. I love you. I will see you next Wednesday for episode 5. Where we talk about being the weird kid and the outsider. This is Anthony, ABJ, and Lily, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.